Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to make fruit cake or Christmas cake, and these are the ingredients. We have all-purpose flour. This is about 260 grams. We have brown sugar. This is 210 grams and it's very fine, as you can see. 3 large eggs. This is crushed almond or chopped almond. This is about 100 grams. This is also readily available in the market like this, cut, so it should not be a problem to get that. 1 teaspoon baking powder. This is almond powder. This is about 80 grams, and this is salted butter. And salted butter we're going to use about 225 grams. We also have dried fruit. Now what I did here was this is regular dried fruit. It's readily available in the market. Sometimes the pieces can be a little too big, so just cut them into bite pieces if they're not too big. And I always use rum. In fact, this is the black rum that I use usually. About 1 cup of rum. What I do is I soak the dried fruit in that. This is soaked for about a week. And about a tablespoon of brown sugar I add as well, and let this soak nicely for about a week so that all the flavors get inside nicely. So first what we're going to do is we're going to mix the baking powder and the almond powder with the flour and just whisk it in nicely. Let the baking powder mix as well. So what I'm using here is salted butter, but if you're not using salted butter, then you can add a pinch of salt in this mix. But I'm not going to add that because I'm using salted butter already. I always use salted butter. Mix it in well. And let's keep this aside. And before you start mixing anything, make sure your baking pan is ready. I'm using a 21 diameter pan over here, and the depth is about 6 centimeters. And I've lined it in well with baking paper or parchment paper. And once you've done this, just keep this aside. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mix the butter. So I have a mixer here, but you can just mix it with hand because it doesn't require a lot of mixing. I'm going to put in about 225 grams of butter. Yep, 225 grams. And this butter is not too hard, it's at room temperature, so it's easier to mix. Now what you're going to do is you're going to just beat this butter up a little. Just mix this until the butter gets nice and fluffy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the brown sugar. Again, beat this until it gets nice and light and fluffy. scrape the sides in well so it mixes well. As you can see, it's nice and light and fluffy right now. And you can start adding the eggs one by one. So we have 3 eggs. Let the first egg mix in well, and then you can add in the second one. And then the final egg. That should be enough. It's nice and creamy. Okay, so you put this mix at the side for now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get back to our flour mix. And what I usually do is I add the fruit mix into this. And the reason why I do that is so that the fruits, they don't stick together. And it's sort of, when the cake bakes, it spreads out evenly on the cake rather than fall to the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the fruit mix in this. Fruit and flour mix. And then add the crushed almond. Now I'm going to take it back into the mixer and just mix it very lightly. This also, you can just mix it with your hand. I'm just using the mixer. It's less work. Alright. It looks enough. Keep the mix aside. Get to the baking pan. Now before we add the mixture into this, preheat your oven. You can bake it at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 40 minutes. That's about 160 degrees Celsius. But on this oven we have a setting for cake. So I'm just going to set it on that directly. Let this preheat for about 2 minutes. In the meantime, add your mixture. Looks like it's mixed in well. Press it too hard, but make sure that it sort of spreads out well, evenly. You can also use a tablespoon to scrape out the extra stuff, or eat it. And just dab it down, make sure that it's spread out evenly. Spread out nice and evenly. As you can see, the paper is also not too high, not too low. The batter is within the lining that we put in. Yeah, looks good. The fruit is also not falling to the bottom. Looks well spread out. Tastes good as well. Okay, that's preheated. Now we gotta put this in. Be very careful, don't burn yourself. Now this is 28 minutes over here, but yeah, I think it should take about 30 to 40 minutes. Once you get to that 30-minute mark, then you start checking your cake. Just make sure it doesn't bake too much, it shouldn't get too dry, and then at the same time it shouldn't be undercooked as well. So yeah, just keep an eye after about 30 minutes. Wow, that's looking so nice. But this is after like about 50 minutes of baking. So like I said, after 30 minutes, just, it's a sort of a trial and error. Keep checking at it. Let it get nice and brown on top. But at the same time, it shouldn't be too dry inside as well. So, yeah, just keep checking it. All right, oh, look at that. That's risen so well.
It smells good.
Just take it out and check it. So what you can do here is you can just check it with the toothpick, but I have a barbecue stick over here, nice long one, so I'm just gonna check it in the center here. And if you can see, yeah, it's still a little soft there, so still needs to be baked a little bit. Oh yeah, it's not done here as well. Now this is after an hours of baking, but yeah, as you can see, it still needs to be baked a little more. So we're going to put it in for another 15 minutes and see what it looks like after that. That's doing good. Let's give it one more test.
Okay.
See, if it comes out dry like this, that means it's done well. Again, you don't want to bake it too much, so you don't want it to become too dry. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this cool for a while, and then we're going to take it out and cut it and check it and see. I've used about 500 grams of dried fruit here. I've seen recipes where they've used about 1 kilogram of dried fruit for the quantity of flour that is there. But I don't know, I find it just too much fruit and it becomes too expensive as well. So 500 grams for this amount of flour and stuff, I think it's just perfect. Wow, look at that color. I'm liking it. Well, let's take it out and see how it is inside. Okay, wow. Ooh. That looks nice. see it doesn't stick on the mold because of the paper and the brushed butter, so it comes in nicely. Oh, look at that. I'm liking that. Let's cut and see how it is inside. It looks good. Oh, look at that, guys. I like the way the dry fruit have spread out. It hasn't fallen to the bottom. They are, like, evenly spread out. Not very hard, not too soft as well. Perfectly moist, and that's good. See, it's not too hard. Not too sweet also, huh? Sugar is just perfect. Tastes good with the hot chocolate. You want more cream in that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect.